Alright, hey y'all, today I'm going to be talking to y'all about Barbizon and my experience. I'm continuing this because I get a lot of questions face to face in my DMs on my YouTube videos, so I decided that I will make this quick video. I'm actually going to be filming a haul right after this, a plus size huge haul. So be on the lookout for this, but I decided to go ahead and make this video because it's gonna be quick, at least I hope so. But I always like helping people out. I went into Barbizon blind and there wasn't much on the internet about it, and what it was mostly negative experiences. So if you watched my last video, my experience wasn't negative. So yeah, just this video is gonna be like a Q&A setup, and then I'm gonna go in depth into some other stuff that I think is really helpful as well. So the first question I got, which I answered back to the person, but I'm gonna go ahead and put that up there. The question is from Ann Brooke Johnson. She says, what is good to wear to the interview and what happens when you get there? They reached out to me, but I'm just trying to make sure I understand everything well. So if you've ever been reached out to by Barbizon, you know that you have to go to an interview. From all the ones I've heard, and plus mine, it was at a hotel in like a convention room, because it's like nationwide, so obviously they don't have places everywhere. So like at first I was thinking like, why is that at a hotel? But that's the reason why. Their headquarters is in Tampa, I believe. It's somewhere in Florida. And they will ask you to come out to this interview, and they want to see you, and they tell you all about Barbizon. They tell you the prices. They just make you audition. Sometimes I think they make you walk, but not other ones. It depends on exactly what they audition for. But for the entry one, to get into the classes, yeah, you just go and talk to the head person, I guess. So to answer the question, what you should wear to the interview, really just depends on you. Don't make it too casual, but I guess dress up is okay. Really, you want to stick to no patterns at all whenever you're going into auditions or castings for modeling. Whenever you're trying to get into it, that's my like play it safe rule. I wore a jumpsuit that was black with white outline. I don't have a picture of it, and I gave it away, so I can't show y'all. But yeah, and I wore basic heels. Also, just because I know Barbizon's rules, don't wear open-toed shoes and stuff like that. They have a strict dress code once you actually get into the classes. But I've seen people there with jeans and t-shirts, so really it just all depends on if they like you or not. Don't think about it too hard. And then what happens when you get there, like I already said, they start telling you about it. You meet with people. They tell you which division they would love you in. If like once you start working after Barbizon, when they'll call you back, your parents, which you'll be under 18 probably, and they'll speak to your parents, and yeah, that's pretty much it. There's not much of a true audition process. You don't have to go in front of everybody and everybody's parents and speak and all that. So yeah, and you'll be given a number, I believe, but mainly it's just sitting and watching videos and all their alumni and who got famous, and yeah. So yeah, on to the next question. PP Love Zoo 1 says, how much are the classes? Now, I don't know if this depends on something else, like if it's like has factors depending on the prices or what, or is it just one set price? But it's definitely over, I want to say $2,000. I don't have a set price because I graduated in April of 2014, so it's almost been 2 years now, and that was 6 months later after I already started and paid for everything. So yeah, I'm not exactly sure how much it is, but I know it is at least over $1,500, at least over $1,500. But Barbizon gives you payment plans. Actually, everything that I've done with Barbizon that costs money has payment plans, so it's very budget friendly, if that's what you want to call it. So yeah, that's that. I don't really, you'll just have to go to the interview and figure out. Once you go to the interview and they say that they like you or they want you to attend classes, you don't have to go. It's just for you to figure out, you know, get more information on it or whatever, and then they'll tell you whenever they call you and say if you made it or not to go to the classes. And my third question, specifically off my YouTube, that I want to address is, after you graduate from Barbizon, is there any way you can actually get work? And I left that question specifically for the end because I want to touch on that question plus my experience after I graduated Barbizon. So if you watched my last video, Barbizon is not an agency. They are not an agency. Like, this is the number one thing that people need to know. It is not a scam because you are not paying to be represented by them, if that makes sense. Like, you are not paying to, they're not your agent, so that's why it's not a scam. You're paying for the school that you're attending. Whether you think that that's worth your money or not is on you. So once you graduate Barbizon, one of the benefits that they give you is you can work with them for the rest of your life. They still call me to this day and ask me if I want to work in a mall and recruit other girls for a good amount of money as well, by the hour. It's definitely over minimum wage, let's just say that. So that's one benefit where you can get money from it. Two, Barbizon has a placement agency where they will keep track. They want pictures of you and your measurements, like a basic agency. However, they will just send out submissions, like not submissions, but they'll send out like local auditions for you. So if you live in Atlanta, they'll send out auditions for you to go to Atlanta, and they'll say, hey, this is there if you want to go. They just simply help you out. Obviously, if the audition in Atlanta is looking for straight size models who are petite or whatever, specific guidelines, if I'm plus size, I'm not gonna be going. That's why they need to know your measurements and stuff like that. So don't get that confused with an agency though. And then three, which is, I'm going into my experience, and this is kind of how I got so far. And I can't remember if I touched on it or not in my last video, but when you graduate Barbizon, you have opportunities to go to competitions, sort of like pageants, but I say sort of like pageants because you have to pay for them to get in there, but you are paying for scouts to see you, worldwide scouts. Depends on how big the competition is. Obviously, the bigger the competition, the more it's gonna cost. But my first competition was at the 15th annual DC competition, because I was in Virginia at the time whenever I graduated school, my Barbizon class. So that competition had about, I'm not exactly sure, but I know in my division we had about 40 girls and there was about 10 divisions, so I don't know if there was more in other ones, I'm not sure, so I don't really have a number, but it was quite a few. And the scouts, it was just for a weekend, so the scouts that were there for, they were there from like local. Whenever I say local, I mean like up and down the East Coast, like not from like Japan or something. So the first day that you're there, you do workshops with all of the Barbizon models, or not models, but like the workers. And then the second day that you are there, because it's only for a weekend, the second day is the actual competition, which you do a commercial and a runway competition within your division. Now, whenever you do your competitions, the agents, the families that came, everybody who is in there is looking at you, and the main people who matter are the scouts. Obviously, that's why you're there. So whenever you after you compete, you go back into the room where y'all are getting ready and stuff, and you have a sheet where you have your callbacks. Callbacks is like when speaks for itself. The agencies call you back, they want to meet with you one-on-one, and then after that you go upstairs and you meet with them. If they like you, they'll give you a card, maybe tell them to call you, whatever. So in that competition, I personally got the first winner up, which is like second place for that division. So that gave me a 30% scholarship to the biggest competition that Barbizon holds, which is the Passport to Discovery. It is a competition for about a week on a carnival cruise, and there's nobody else on there except for the contestants, the family members that the contestants bring, the workers from Barbizon, and the scouts. Now this one is so big that they have agents from around the world, like Japan, Milan, I don't even know, all types of places. So, and they also have some from like here as well, like quite a bit, like obviously like high in New York, LA, whatever. So but the thing that's so important about these competitions is you have to put your money in to make money. I was scouted by many scouts. I was seen by many scouts because I paid for that experience to go on these competitions. Now, no, it was not cheap, but like I said, Barbizon does give you payment plans and options. And for the Passport to Discovery, if you just go regularly without like trying to win the scholarship, whatever, you have months and months and months, if not a year, to pay for the cruise. Which the cruise ship, that was a little over, I can't remember, but I know it was definitely over $1,000 per person. But with this, you're paying for the airplane tickets. That's included in that price. You're paying for all kinds of merchandise. You're paying for the competitions that you're in. Yeah, so I mean, cruises are expensive overall, especially if you add on to that. It's really a great price because the airline tickets are in it too, especially coming from Virginia. We had to fly down to Tampa, I think. And so yeah, that could have been very costly, especially I knew just a few months ahead, so I really had little time to get prepared and stuff like that. So back to the question, really it depends on you. If you really want to get work after that, you can. I found my agency that I'm signed to right now in New York on the Passport to Discovery cruise. Now that is not saying that you have to go on these competitions and cruises to know, or to be seen by agencies or whatever. I could have definitely been at home and not went and then just found them online. But I found them on the Passport to Discovery cruise. And also one more thing that I want to say is that a lot of people think that in this industry, stuff is just going to be handed to you because you have a pretty face or you take great pictures. That is not the case at all. I don't care who you know, you still have to put in work, you still have to try, you still have to just put effort in. That's the way it goes. I came up to New York before I even got signed to my agency, and I came to see a different agency and they turned me down. I came to New York, I drove 7 hours up to New York to get turned down in 20 minutes. A 20-minute meeting to get turned down. So really, it does take a lot. You have to risk a lot, and you have to be prepared for the risk and the no's and whatever else. Because now I'm living up here and I'm pursuing my dreams. I want to thank a lot to Barbizon because a lot of stuff I didn't know. And yeah, so if you have any other questions, just let me know. I'm thinking about doing a Q&A for people wanting to know more specific things. Yeah, so hope this wasn't too long, and give it a thumbs up if it helped you out.